Hi, I'm Heather, and I thought it would be fun for me to share another episode of my Based on a True Story series where I share in stream of consciousness, basically memories as they arise. And lately, a lot of them have been around my Alaskan childhood experience because I was in Alaska in June. And recently I've finally had the opportunity to relax just enough that I've cleared enough blockages that things can move more smoothly through me. Ideas can move more smoothly through me. And so these memories of my childhood, which I'm also recognizing I did repress for quite some time. Like, I remember my mom and I having a conversation where we clearly decided, you know what, let's not tell our Alaska stories anymore because everybody just looks at us like we're aliens. And it just didn't feel good at that time. And so I definitely stuffed my stories down, and only once in a while would pull them out when I just really felt like blowing people's minds. And now I'm like, you know what? I don't need to repress it anymore. I'm not afraid of, I don't give a fuck if people think I'm an alien. I actually am embracing that. And I think it's fun to re-explore the perspective that I receive from my childhood self. My little girl self has these stories to tell where she's like, hey, you know what? You see how easy it is to go take a bath now? Let me tell you what it was like when I was 7, 8, 9. Because a couple background pieces, we didn't have electricity until I was 12. We heated our house with a wood stove. We cooked our food on a wood stove. We eventually did get a propane stove. We had to, bring in the propane. So I'm just trying to give you a little context of why it was so much effort to take a bath. And I was just always somebody that, my mom told me when I was little, I hated to be sticky. Just please don't ever make me be dirty. If I got something on my clothes, I would go change them. I'm like a toddler, and I'm like, hey, fuck this shit, I'm gonna go change. So imagine then when it's like really hard to stay clean. So this is what it would take for me to take a bath in the winter. If I did not need to wash my hair, I would just melt enough snow on the wood stove to take a cowboy bath, like a hot bowl of soapy water, and then a hot bowl of rinsed water. Use washcloth, and just clean all my bits and parts. The big drawback to that version option was that I would then have to be in the kitchen, which we didn't heat at night. And in the winter, of course, it's quite cold. Snow would sometimes blow in this one particularly large gap we had between the buildings. So it was very cold. So being cold and naked and wet, a little bit wet, it's not ideal. So sometimes I just didn't want that, or sometimes I needed to wash my hair. And so that was a big all-day production where, I would make sure I'd bring in a lot of wood, and I had to work this around all my other chores. So that was to be added too. I would get the big old pot, and I would go outside, and sometimes if it was a fresh snow, I wouldn't have to go all that far to get a big pot with their snow. Of course, you have to always check for yellow snow because goats and dogs and, little boys don't give a shit. They just pee wherever. And so obviously I don't want yellow snow. I'm bathing. And so always got to watch for that. Clean that off so that it's not too wet and melty. Put it on top of the stove. Let that melt for a little while. Get another container, go out, get some more snow, keep putting it in. It was sort of fun. There was aspects of it that were fun that I got to kind of play while I was doing it. But, to melt a big pot of snow, it takes a whole goddamn day. So about midday, I would bring in the galvanized tub, which had been hanging out on the wall outside. So of course, it's also fucking freezing, often has ice on it, on snow on it, whatever. So I've got to clean that off, can't track all that in. And once it's cleaned off, then I can bring it in and kind of put it over by the wood stove so it could start to get to room temperature. So then finally, maybe after dinner time, it's finally time I can take a damn bath. And it's a one-room cabin, so if everybody else is in the house, which they probably are, I don't get any privacy. I get to take a bath in front of the whole family. that's not super awesome for a teen, you know? A developing preteen. That I did not enjoy that at all. So that was the big all day production. Sometimes when we had a car, or got a ride, or something, and the whole family went to town together, sometimes we would go to the laundromat and rent a family shower, and then we would take turns like running through. Like I'd take a baby and wash a baby, and then mom would take a baby and wash a baby, and then if our dad was around, he would take a shower. Yeah, it's a big ass production. So I really do appreciate being able to go into my bathroom and turn the water on and take a shower without melting any snow. So I'm curious, what do you appreciate about your life now that is like totally different than it was at some other point in your life? I look forward to hearing about it. Have a great day.